Have you ever stopped to think that most of your decisions aren't truly yours? That beneath your choices lies an invisible mind, shaping every move without you even realizing it? It sounds intriguing, but the truth is that most of our lives are directed by a much deeper and more mysterious place than we imagine. What we call fate is not a fixed path, but a reflection of a hidden mind operating far beyond our consciousness. And the most surprising part, we often don't even know we're being guided by this invisible force. Imagine that from the moment we're born, a veil is placed over us, obscuring our view of our true essence and divine purpose. This veil of forgetfulness is a metaphor for how, as we enter physical form, we forget our spiritual nature and our connection to the universe. We forget who we truly are, why we are here, and what we are capable of achieving. The reality we live in becomes a blurred canvas, where the outlines of our true identity are hard to discern. But the good news is that the veil is not a permanent obstacle. By waking up to our true nature, we can begin to lift this veil, remembering our purpose and reconnecting with the infinite potential that resides within us. This is where the journey of spiritual awakening begins, allowing us to align ourselves with the universe and co-create the reality we desire. The hidden mind. Beneath your conscious thoughts lies a hidden current. Have you ever thought about how much of what you feel, think, and do comes from a place you barely know? Darren Brown, in this episode, takes us on a journey to explore the vast ocean of the unconscious mind, where beliefs, fears, and patterns lie dormant without our awareness. It's as if we're navigating an invisible river, directing our choices, relationships, and worldview without realizing it. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In other words, without realizing it, you may be guided by forces within you that you didn't even know existed. And the most fascinating part, you might think you're in control when in reality, you're being led by these hidden currents. So, how can you identify these hidden influences? One way is by observing your behavioral patterns. For instance, if you always feel insecure in social situations, even without an apparent reason, it might be a reflection of limiting beliefs stored in your unconscious. These repetitive patterns are like traffic signs that indicate where you need to pay attention. Another way is through your dreams. Jung believed that dreams are a window to the unconscious, revealing aspects of ourselves that we avoid facing. Keeping a dream journal can help you decode these messages and bring repressed content to the surface. When you start to bring these hidden influences into awareness, you begin a process of personal transformation. It's like cleaning the lens through which you see the world, allowing reality to reveal itself in a clearer, more authentic way. And as you do this, you start to realize that what you once called fate was, in fact, merely a reflection of unconscious patterns. The architecture of the mind, conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, imagine a mind as a multi-layered building, with each level playing a unique role in shaping your reality. At the top, you have the conscious mind, the part where you're fully aware of what's going on. But as you go deeper, you discover the subconscious, a much larger area that stores all your habits, beliefs, and automatic thought patterns. And even deeper, you find the superconscious, the deeper, wiser part that carries the divine blueprint of your soul. The conscious mind is like the visible part of an iceberg. It's where you make logical decisions, solve immediate problems, and are aware of your actions. However, this is just a small fragment of your mind. The bulk of your functioning is rooted in the subconscious, where everything you've learned throughout life, beliefs, fears, past experiences, is stored. These contents are not always accessible to the conscious mind, but deeply influence your actions and daily thoughts. What happens when you connect with the superconscious? This is the space where true universal wisdom resides. When you align with this level of consciousness, you begin to realize that you are in tune with something greater, something that transcends the limitations of rational thought. At this level, you can experience an expansion of consciousness, where the blocks limiting your potential dissolve. By doing so, you begin living a personal transformation, creating new realities for your life. However, most people are too focused on the conscious level, try to solve all problems on the surface, without understanding that true power comes from alignment between these three levels. The key to real change lies in altering subconscious patterns, as they're often responsible for the repetitive habits that no longer serve us. And by doing so, you begin to experience a life change like no other. The transition from the conscious to the subconscious doesn't happen overnight. But when you begin working to reprogram these patterns through practices like meditation, affirmations, and visualization, you start feeling the effects in your daily life. It's like building a solid foundation for a larger and stronger building. And as that foundation strengthens, you gain more confidence and begin to see the true energy that resides within you. Understanding your inner architecture. The force of mental vibrations, everything you think, feel, and believe creates a vibration. Each thought passing through your mind emits a frequency, and these vibrations have the power to shape your reality. What many don't realize is that these vibrations, coming from your subconscious, could be guiding your life without you knowing. That's why understanding your inner architecture is the first step to start creating realities that align with your true purpose. The human mind works like a magnet, attracting whatever it resonates with. If your internal beliefs are based on scarcity or limitations, this is reflected in your experiences. But when you begin cultivating thoughts and beliefs based on abundance and infinite possibilities, you align yourself with a reality of greater potential. This is what we call quantum manifestation, the ability to create your reality through the energy you emit. And the key to changing that reality lies in changing the vibrational patterns inside of you. Most people don't realize what they feel at a deep mental level, whether it's fear, insecurity, or anger, might be a reflection of outdated beliefs that no longer serve their growth. The first step toward transformation is realizing that these vibrations can be reprogrammed. This doesn't happen magically, but through consistent practices of mental reprogramming. This includes not only identifying limiting beliefs, but actively changing them to create new truths that align with your greatest potential. To better understand your inner architecture, start by doing deep introspection. Ask yourself, what thoughts dominate my mind? What beliefs are preventing me from moving forward? Often, these thoughts are so automatic that we don't even notice they're present. But by bringing them to awareness, you start realizing they don't need to govern your life anymore. True transformation comes from changing these mental patterns and replacing with thoughts that resonate with the energy of money as energy, inner power, and co-creation with the universe. One powerful practice to align your mind with these new frequencies is meditation. During meditation, you can visualize changing your limiting beliefs, transforming them into positive and empowering affirmations. For instance, I am worthy of abundance and I am aligned to the flow of the universe. By repeating this daily, you start replacing old beliefs with new, more powerful ones. The change may be gradual, but consistency has a profound impact on your life. The shadow, integrating the repressed parts of yourself. Each one of us has a shadow. And no, I'm not talking about a dark object in the corner of your room, but about a part of your psyche that you avoid facing. The shadow consists of all the aspects of ourselves that have been repressed or denied throughout our lives. Emotions, thoughts, behaviors that don't fit into the acceptable version of ourselves. Jung believed that if we don't confront our shadow, it will continue to influence our lives, often in destructive and unconscious ways. When you avoid facing your shadow, you're allowing it to operate in the background, shaping your actions and thoughts without your consent. It's like a program running in the background of your computer. It's not visible, but it's using system resources and affecting performance. Similarly, the shadow can create automatic behavior patterns, like impulsive reactions, irrational fears, or toxic relationships. The secret to personal transformation is to bring the shadow into the light. Integrating the shadow doesn't mean rejecting or trying to erase these parts of yourself. On the contrary, it's about accepting that these aspects are part of who you are. The shadow contains qualities and emotions that have been rejected or hidden out of fear or judgment. When you learn to look at it with compassion and curiosity, rather than anger or shame, you begin to tap into a source of creativity and inner power. And by doing this, you open up space for true life change. But how do you begin to integrate the shadow? One of the most effective ways is self-exploration, primarily through meditation and journaling. Ask yourself, what parts of me do I try to hide? What aspects of my personality make me feel ashamed? By writing about these feelings and allowing them to surface, you start giving voice to the shadow. It's not about getting rid of these emotions, but accepting them and learning from them. For instance, if you feel anger frequently in certain situations, instead of suppressing the feeling, ask yourself, what is this anger trying to teach me? Often, repressed emotions like anger or fear are signals that something needs to be transformed. The shadow, when integrated, can release an immense creative potential. It's like discovering a new power within yourself, a power that was hidden in the shadows, waiting to be unleashed. Destiny versus programming. Breaking free from limiting patterns, have you ever wondered if you are truly living your destiny, or if you're just following a pre-programmed path that was laid out by your early experiences, family, or society? Most of us believe that destiny is a fixed thing, a timeline that we're destined to walk. But the truth is, many of us are actually living out an unconscious programming that was shaped by everything we were taught and experienced up to now. And by freeing ourselves from that programming, we can finally step into our true destiny, a life aligned with our highest potential. Unconscious programming can come from many sources: childhood, culture, traumatic experiences we faced. It forms a set of beliefs and expectations that guide our choices, often without us even realizing it. This program is deeply ingrained and can keep us stuck in limiting patterns, like the fear of failing, the need for approval, or the belief that we don't deserve success. But once you become aware of how these patterns are running your life, you can take the first step toward true transformation. The good news is that once you recognize these patterns, you can rewrite them. Destiny is not fixed. It can be shaped by the conscious choices we make once we decide to break free from the limitations of the past. This starts with becoming aware of the beliefs that are controlling your life, and then taking deliberate actions to replace those limiting beliefs with new, more empowering ones. You can start doing this through practices like daily affirmations, meditation, visualization, and setting goals aligned with your true inner desires. For example, someone who grew up believing that money is dirty or that wealth is unattainable might find that their subconscious is blocking their financial success. But by becoming aware of that programming, the person can start replacing that belief with a new one: money is energy and I am worthy of abundance. By doing this consistently, they start to change their reality and attract opportunities they once thought were out of reach. True destiny is not written in the stars, but in your alignment with the universe and your own essence. By freeing yourself from programming, you begin to experience a life filled with more possibilities. You align with your inner power and start co-creating with the universe the reality you desire, instead of being pulled along by a path laid out by external forces. And this is the true key to personal transformation and the creation of a meaningful and fulfilling life. The veil of forgetting. The journey back to your true essence when we are born. A sort of veil is placed over us, obscuring our view of our true essence and divine purpose. This veil of forgetfulness is a metaphor for how, as we enter physical form, we forget our spiritual nature and connection to the universe. We forget who we truly are, why we're here, and what we're capable of. The reality we live in becomes a blurred canvas, where the contours of our true identity are hard to discern. This forgetfulness isn't a mistake or failure. It is, in fact, part of the human experience. The process of forgetting serves as an invitation to a journey of self-discovery, where, as we go along, we begin to unveil layers of our true essence. It's like each experience, each challenge, is an opportunity to remember who we really are, to reconnect with the universe's infinite energy. And it is precisely in this process of spiritual awakening that lies the key to a transformed life. As we go through this journey of awakening, we often face obstacles that seem to pull us further away from our true nature. Limiting beliefs, fears, and societal conditioning reinforce this veil of forgetfulness. The good news is that by becoming aware of this veil, we can begin to dissolve it. We start to remember our divine nature and the infinite potential that resides within us. And this remembrance is what allows us to align our lives with our highest purpose. Awakening the observer. The power of observing without reacting. Most of us live life reacting, driven by emotions and automatic thoughts that come up without us having control over them. Instead of acting consciously, we often respond based on pre-existing mental and emotional patterns, creating more of the same. But there's a hidden power that can transform this dynamic. The power of becoming the observer of your own mind. Waking up the observer is the first step toward true freedom. Instead of being dominated by your thoughts and emotions, you start to distance yourself from them, observing them without identifying with them. Imagine your thoughts are like clouds in the sky. They come and go, but you don't need to attach to any of them. By becoming the observer, you create a space of neutrality where you can consciously choose how to respond, rather than being swept away by emotions and impulses. Reprogramming the subconscious. Creating new possibilities in life, the subconscious mind is like a recorder, storing all our thoughts, beliefs, and experiences. It operates on autopilot, shaping our actions, decisions, and perceptions of the world. The problem is that often, the subconscious stores limiting patterns that hold us back from achieving our fullest potential. To change our reality, we must first reprogram these patterns and replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Reprogramming the subconscious doesn't happen through force or overnight. It's a gradual process where, as we become aware of our thoughts and beliefs, we begin to replace them with new truths more aligned with the life we wish to create. The key to this transformation is repetition. Just like a software update, our minds need to be rewritten to change their functions. We can begin to do this through practices such as affirmations, visualizations, and aligned actions. For example, if you grew up believing that you aren't worthy of success, your subconscious will align your life according to that belief. But by starting to affirm with conviction that you are worthy of success, that money is energy, and that you have the power to create your own realities, your subconscious begins to accept these new beliefs. These affirmations, when said with emotion and conviction, have the power to reprogram the subconscious, creating new patterns of thought that attract more abundance, success, and fulfillment. A powerful tool to reprogram the mind is guided meditation. By using meditation recordings that focus on positive affirmations, you begin to infiltrate these new beliefs into your subconscious mind in a smooth and effective way. In addition, creative visualization can be used to imagine yourself living the life you desire with vivid and real details. The mind doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. So by repeatedly visualizing your goals being achieved, you start to create a new reality at the subconscious level. Over time, this reprogramming process will be reflected in your external reality. Opportunities start to appear, fears and limitations begin to fade, and you realize you are capable of creating the life you've always dreamed of. As this happens, you experience a radical life change where your perception of what is possible expands infinitely. The sacred pattern of your life. Recognizing the wisdom behind challenges, every life follows a pattern, a sacred path that is intrinsically connected to your soul and purpose. When you look back and reflect on the most challenging moments of your life, you might realize that these events didn't happen by accident. They are part of a bigger pattern, a journey designed for your growth and awakening. These moments, often seen as obstacles, are actually carefully orchestrated experiences to awaken your unlimited potential and help you align with your true purpose. Often, what we call challenges or difficulties are actually moments of great learning and personal transformation. They are opportunities that the universe provides for you to connect more deeply with your inner power and grow beyond the limitations of the mind. This sacred pattern is like a silent teacher, guiding you along your journey, no matter how hard the difficulties may seem. One way to perceive this pattern is by reflecting on the ups and downs of your life. In every twist, in every crisis point, you may discover that there was a valuable lesson that allowed you to expand your consciousness and move closer to your essence. Often, it is only when we look back that we can see how these experiences prepared us for the next steps, as if every moment of pain was a preparation for something greater and more meaningful. To recognize and align yourself with this sacred pattern, it's important to start seeing life's challenges as growth opportunities. Instead of resisting them, you can begin asking yourself, what is this experience trying to teach me? How can I grow from this? These questions help transform pain and discomfort into a tool for your personal and spiritual development. And as you embrace these moments as part of your journey, you begin to live more in alignment with your divine purpose. This sacred pattern is much more than just a set of events or circumstances. It is a cosmic dance between you and the universe, where each step, each choice, each challenge, and each victory is intertwined in a unique way. When you recognize and align yourself with this pattern, you begin to experience a life of greater meaning and purpose, where everything that happens in your life becomes an opportunity to expand your consciousness and manifest the reality you wish to live. Now that you've begun to unlock the mysteries of your mind and the unconscious patterns shaping your life, it's time to take action. The process of self-discovery and transformation requires awareness, dedication, and a commitment to change. But with the knowledge you've gained, you have the tools to break free from limiting beliefs, reprogram your subconscious, and begin co-creating with the universe to manifest the life you truly desire. Are you ready to step into your true potential? To start living with purpose, energy, and alignment? The journey doesn't end here. Now it's time for you to take the next step in your personal transformation. Don't wait. Begin today and watch how the universe aligns with your intentions.